Welcome to, hey everybody, welcome to the Soccer Sharps, a soccer betting podcast. Jordan returning for week 2 of the EPL and La Liga, but we have new leagues kicking off, and in the Serie A and Bundesliga. So we got games from those. We're covering 10 matches for you guys. No, sorry, 9 matches with 10 official plays and best bets, which we will get to at the end. So stick around for all of your betting needs.
Martial. Herrera, Ibrahimovic! Oh my God, an insane goal! I've just seen the most insane goal I have ever seen on a football pitch. Balotelli, Aguero!
Jord, well, I said it in the intro. We are back, baby. Another week, and I'll tell you, I was just fiending. I was licking my lips looking at this slate of games this weekend because last week was a nice little tease. It was a little palate taster as we got started. But any big takeaways for you from that week 1?
Yeah, it was a disappointing palate taster is what it was, Dev. Yeah, it was a fucking losing weekend. Welcome back to the season. Cool, man. Great to be back. Things opened up for me, Dev, on that Friday night, opening night, where I suffered 2 of the most horrendous bad beats. I don't even want to get into it. People know. They don't need to hear me complain about the bets, but I'll just, for anyone who didn't catch the plays last week, I had Liverpool and Bournemouth, both teams to score in under 5.5 goals. That gratuitous 6th goal from Mo Salah coming deep into stoppage time. And Bournemouth to have over 10.5 shots. They got their 10th shot in the 76th minute. No further shots.
Wow.
So, yeah, great way to start the weekend.
Did a little they hooked you.
Oh, yeah, big time. Did a little recovery, though, over the following days. It wasn't our worst show ever. We'll put it that way, right? We got some wins on the board. We're going to recap it now.Maybe you want to just go over there now, pull up the graphics.
Let's throw it up, Jordan. I didn't do too bad. You know, I lost less than 1 unit here. You with a -2. A -2, Jordan. A combined -3 for both of us. Not the way we wanted to start off the season. But look, it's only 1 week. I went light purposely in the last weekend because I wanted to see some things. I wanted to check things out.
Percentages are similar. So
well, that's true. If you throw enough stuff at a wall, it will stick. Everybody, we're live on YouTube here. We are live on X. Please drop us some comments if you're watching with us live. We appreciate it. And as always, please like, subscribe, and follow the show across all platforms. We appreciate it. Yeah, you can see Jordan is pointing out the like, follow, and subscribe button there on the screen. We appreciate it. Yeah, Jordan, let's dive into it here because we got another 1 data point of the EPL in the books now, 1 for La Liga as well. And we're opening up 2 more leagues. So we'll get started with the Premier League. And this one, we got a Friday kickoff. Jordan, it's your West Ham United against Chelsea, the world champions, in this London derby. Bit of a London derby here. It sees West Ham as home dogs of 3/4 of a goal. And the total is set at 2.75. Jordan, West Ham embarrassed on opening day, going to Sunderland, losing 3-0. Ooh, that was tough. That could be a relegation 6-pointer in your future. Chelsea on the other side against Crystal Palace came out with a 0-0, and Eberechi Eze goal that was disallowed for more refereeing bullshit. You know, it's just something we have to deal with in this league. It's just what we deal with. You just have to pencil in that the refs are going to be a major talking point in some of these games. Anyway, enough of my saltiness. Jord, what do you think about this matchup kicking off tomorrow on Friday?
Yeah, a Friday night game here, Dev. I just got through telling you about how fucked I got last Friday. I said I can't wait for another Friday night under the lights here. But look, yeah, Dev, you said it. West Ham embarrassed on the opening day. It's been one of the stories of the week, not just on West Ham fan channels, but through, the actual football media. One of the big stories. I was kind of surprised that it came out. And a lot of that was giving props to Sunderland. What a great performance from them. Not going to take anything away from it. But I'm kind of here to tell you guys, Relax. All right, let's dive into the numbers. Sunderland scored 3 goals off of 0.63 expected. And the reason for that, look, the third goal, complete goalkeeping error from the brand new West Ham keeper, Hermansen, who probably shouldn't have started that game. He'd been in the club for less than a week. The second goal was a header that goes in once out of 100 times. Try that again. I think it was like 0.01 xg or something like that. And the second goal, or sorry, there was the good goal, the big Ballard header, and that was just a blown coverage, as we say in the NFL. Lucas Paqueta should not be marking that man. But look, excuses, right, Jordan? I'm going to highlight some positives. West Ham were very good in that first half. That place was a cauldron. Fair play to Sunderland fans, finally back after 8 years of exile, finally back in the Premier League where they belong. Fans were up for it. It was rocking. And Graham Potter and West Ham did well to take the sting out of that, weathered that storm early on, and then controlled the match, had some okay chances, not clear-cut chances, but some decent half chances. I think everyone in the stadium was waiting for the inevitable at that point, but the goal never came. And then they capitulated in the second half, Sunderland went into another gear, rode that adrenaline, and I chalk it up to a bad second half at the office, okay? I think we're going to get a reaction here in this one from West Ham. I think you'd have to after a result like that. They're at home here, home opener. They always get up for Chelsea. There have been a lot of tight games between these two over the years. So I think, as I say, we see a reaction. West Ham can be much better than they played in that second half. So I'm going to take them on the handicap here. It's interesting. I guess the market agrees with me, Dev, because this was looking like it was going to move to a goal early on. It started Chelsea's money line, as you can see on the screen if you're watching, is minus 150 at the time of recording. Earlier in the week, it went to minus 163. That handicap there was getting closer to a full goal for Chelsea, and then the market corrected. So obviously, some people out there are agreeing with me. I'm going to try and be even a little more pragmatic than taking the plus 0.75 with West Ham here, Dev. I'm going to take the full goal, get that push possibility if they do lose at home, and make it 2 defeats on the bounce. But I'm confident enough that they don't get thrashed. We'll see. That's my take. The plus 1 on the Asian handicap coming in at minus 143. A little bit juicy, but you do get a lot of protection with it.
Yeah, Jordan, I don't know why you do this to yourself, man. I don't know why you're betting on your own team here. Look, home dogs. I love a home dog in the Premier League in a standalone game, a nighttime game. Yeah, they'll be up for it, as you say. I think this is the good spot to take it if you're going to. You're closer to the West Ham than I am because watching that result, and I only watched the highlights of that match against Sunderland, but not great. They didn't put up much XG themselves. I know you mentioned it was only 0.63 or whatever for, I can just tell you exactly what it is, Sunderland.
Yeah, West Ham weren't great either. As I said, no clear-cut
exactly.
chances, but they had some flashes early on.
Yeah, I'm seeing 0.72 for Sunderland, and for West Ham United 0.56. So neither team was creating much. It seemed like a pretty dead game. Now Chelsea will be a little bit more open, more than likely. I would go goals in this game if I was going to go anything. Maybe that over 2.75, or throw in the both teams to score. West Ham will get one at home. Tack on a 2.5. You can get a nice little price there. But I like to just stay off this short. I wish you luck with the hammers.
We got a new stout Chelsea here, Dev. They haven't conceded to PSG or Crystal Palace. Clean sheet merchants again. Tommy Tuchel style.
Wow. Yeah, who is this team? Well, Maresca, did you see that he was asking for another player? He was like, we have to sign a center back. We have to.
Yeah.
I'm like, you stop fucking signing people, asshole. At some point, like, make your players play well. Like, what are we doing? Let's move on, George, because we've got a matchup on Saturday morning, and it's Manchester City against Tottenham Hotspur. This one sees City as home favorites of 1.25 goals. Total is set at 3.25. George, this is the sleepy kickoff, the early morning kickoff. We talked about it last week when Newcastle faced off against Aston Villa. First thing I said in that podcast was my instinct here was to take the under. I didn't. I took a side, and the under was 0-0. So always stick to your gut there. But Jordan, this one, sleepy time kickoff, and we've got this Thomas Frank's Tottenham coming in here with a nice 3-0 victory against newly promoted side, and Manchester City with a 4-0 thrashing of Wolves on the road last week. Now they have their home opener against Tottenham. They're European champions. What do you think about this matchup up there in Manchester?
Well, Dev, yeah, much like me getting shamed last Friday night, I went back to the well with another Friday night match. You got shamed in the early sleepy kickoff on Saturday, and you're going right back to the well. I elected to stay off of this game. City did look very convincing, imperious, but it was Wolves, one of the teams that are tipped to really struggle this season, whereas Spurs are sort of tipped to be on the ascendancy right now, despite struggling to sign players. This will be obviously a very different test for Spurs, but Spurs in recent seasons have done quite well against Manchester City, and Thomas Frank has also done quite well against Manchester City over at Brentford. So that plus 1.25 for Spurs, definitely interesting. Obviously, the market thinks that Spurs are getting on the score sheet here. Minus 163 for both teams to score, yes. If they're scoring in this game, that plus 1.25 becomes pretty attractive, no?
Yeah, Jordan, I saw this number and I was a little surprised we're getting that extra quarter of a goal here. I thought this might drop down to just the flat one. I get it. It's Manchester City. They were dominant against a Wolves side that could be getting relegated this year. And the thing about that Wolves game was Wolves played with them. Wolves said, "Look, we're gonna press you and we're gonna leave space." And Erling Haaland is just licking his lips when he sees that. Like, oh my God, these guys are actually trying to play with us. What idiots! And promptly scores 2 goals. I don't think Tottenham's going to do that because I think what I've watched in their past 2 matches, which is the Super Cup final against PSG and the Burnley game, is that they are way more organized. They are structurally sound and they have an identity. They know what they're doing. This is something that Spurs haven't had for a few years now, not even since Pochettino days, I would say, where you can tell the importance on set pieces that they're going to be implementing. It was a hallmark of Thomas Frank at Brentford. He's clearly brought that over. We saw him score twice on set pieces against PSG. That could be a factor here. And I think Thomas Frank's smart enough to know you don't play with Manchester City. You let them have the ball and you counter them. It's the most effective way to defeat this team. And now you're giving me a goal and a quarter. Spurs could definitely lose this game, but I have a hard time seeing it being by a margin. So I like getting that goal and a quarter. You take a look at, you mentioned their head-to-heads. Last 10 head-to-head meetings between these two teams, Tottenham have won 5, Man City have won 4, and there's been 1 draw. That was a pretty surprising record for me, and that's coming at both home and away. So I think Tottenham's a pretty live dog here, honestly. I like what they've done, a lot of the business they've done in the offseason. Everybody's healthy at the moment. And this Manchester City team, yes, they won by a big margin. I think they're still gelling, trying to figure out how they're going to play together. Now, the people they bring off the bench are absolutely insane, right? So you bring Phil Foden just comes in off the bench. He'd be starting in any other team in this league. So they have a lot of options late on. But I'm going to double dip here, Jordan, because one player that stood out to me in that last Tottenham game was Richarlison.
Charlie.
And I'm going to give you my pitch for Richarlison's fan song that's going to be sung in the stadium.
Oh boy.
See the theme of Come a Chameleon? You come and go, So
Sure.
It goes, Richie Richarlison. He's scoring goals. He's scoring goals. I think it's pretty good.
I just need you in the makeup. I need you in the Boy George makeup, and then it would totally sell it for me. It's not bad. It's not bad, I have to say.
Thank you. The Richarlison, he's the kind of player who needs to start hot, right? He needs confidence. He needs to see some goal in the back of the net. And boy, he scored twice against Burnley, and one of them was an absolute banger, like Puskás level goal in the first week of the season. So he's, I think, going to be feeling really good. I think he's going to be happy. It's a weird thing to talk about, but this is a guy who's been very open about his mental health and the problems he's had with that. And now he's scoring bangers. I think he's live in this one. So I'm going to take him to have a shot on target. Just a shot on target. Doesn't have to be a goal. At even money. That's a steal to me, George. You could play the goal scoring. I think it's almost 3-1. I'm going to be a little bit safer. Just go with the shot on target because I think there's going to be some fast break opportunities here for Spurs. And Richarlison, I think, is going to have a green light to let him fly. So give me Spurs on the Asian handicap here as dogs, and also Richarlison with a shot on target.
Hey, Dev, love it, but you obviously didn't read the final card, bud, because I got you a better price on that Charlie shot on target. You got that at plus 120 over
Let's
on
go.
a book that rhymes with pet livers. And Bob DeVita in the chat here saying, stay away from the 7:30 Eastern games. Boring and no goals. Well, actually, yeah, that could be, but Dev's plays do not require any goals. So
don't need any goals.
It works out.
I don't even want goals. Don't give me any. Well, that's going to do it for Manchester. Let's move on to our next matchup in the Prem, and it's Brentford against Aston Villa. This one sees Brentford as home dogs of a quarter of a goal. Total is set at 2.75. George, Brentford, embarrassing defeat to Nottingham Forest 3-1 in their opening weekend. Aston Villa, with the aforementioned 0-0 against Newcastle, they probably should have lost that game. They did get red carded in about the 60th minute, so there's something to that too. But George, what do you think about this matchup here with Aston Villa traveling down to London?
Well, Dev, I don't really have a lot of thoughts about this one. I did not watch either of these teams' games this past weekend. I did not get to that. That's unusual for me. I do try to watch everything, at least in some capacity. I was only able to get to highlights for Aston Villa this week, so didn't watch either of the games. So I'm just going to, in the interest of time, push it to you because I know you got the play for this one. Tell me what you saw here.
And look, I'm going to keep it quick. I think this Brentford team is in big trouble. I think they're going down. I picked them to go down with you last week, and you lose your coach, lose a couple of your best players, and all of a sudden, this team that's like really outkicked their coverage, like really punched above their weight, is suddenly, I think, going to have a lot of trouble here. Look, they get, is it Norgard, or did he the one that went? Is he the one that went to Arsenal?
Yeah, he went
Norgard.
to Arsenal. Yeah.
Okay, the other guy, Damsgaard.
Yeah.
Damsgaard, yes, plays in the center. He'll be back for this one. He's beneficial, but Aston Villa getting Emily Martinez back. I expect them to win this game. This is just a Brentford fade here, so I'm going with Villa on the money line. I know I took them last week. I'm taking them again here. I'm going back to the well, George. Plus 110 to win. It's a road game, but I do think they'll learn some things from that Newcastle match. They'll be able to regroup and should beat this team. If they are going to be in top 6, they should be getting 3 points here. And that's pretty much the end of the cap there, George.
Fair enough, Dev. I wish you luck.
Well, let's move on to our final Premier League match. It takes place on Monday, and it's going to be a spicy one, George. It's Newcastle United against Liverpool. And this one sees Newcastle as home dogs of a half a goal, total set at a flat 3. Look, we've already talked about both of these teams in their previous weeks' matchups. This is all about Isak, right? We can call this the Isak Bowl.
Yeah, the derby of Alexander Isak. Dev, yeah, look, we went with it in the thumbnail for this week's video. How could you not? Kind of the marquee matchup. Meetings between these two teams are fiery at the best of times, and it is not the best of times on Tyneside here, Dev. St. James's Park is going to be absolutely rocking. And look, Isak's not even going to be involved, but I think they're going to try and take all that angst out on Liverpool, who they can kind of see as the object of their misery right now. Like, you guys are the ones who've done this to us. Why did you have to come in for him? Why did you have to turn his head? Certainly the fans will be feeling that way. I'm not sure if that stuff really resonates into the locker room that much. They're all professionals. They understand these kind of things happen. I don't think they really talk too much about business amongst themselves, but it's going to be hard for these players not to get behind the spirited crowd out there. I think Eddie Howe is going to have a point to prove. I think this one means a lot to them, and I think they're going to give everything to not lose this match. And because of that, Dev, this is a completely narrative-based play for me here. I'm taking Newcastle on the double chance. They're a great outfit at home, regardless of who's playing up top for them. And they have been now for quite a while. And they've played Liverpool well. Obviously, it hurts not having Isak. But I think Bournemouth showed us that you can get at this Liverpool team. And at home, St. James's Park here on a Monday night lights. Marquee match, standalone. I just think this is going to be an intense atmosphere. We saw Liverpool kind of buckle a little bit when things got intense and the sting got taken out of it for a while. Obviously, they clawed it back, but that was at Anfield. They're not going to have the magic on their side here. So give me two outcomes here with a team that I believe has a real point to prove and will die trying to get the 3 points. So Newcastle plus a half a goal, minus 118.
I love it, Jordan. I think it's the only way to bet this match. I would not look at that total at all. Over, under, I don't know. Bookies think both teams are scoring minus 200 here, and I absolutely could see Newcastle score. Liverpool gave up twice, 2 goals to Bournemouth, and I think that's going to be a theme this season. It seems like their only recourse here is to try to outscore teams, and it's tough when you don't have Alexander Isak. On the other side of this, you mentioned it, all of the non-measurables in sport are on the side of Newcastle here. They're at home, standalone game at nighttime. It's going to be crazy in there, and true hatred and anger in their hearts. So that midfield, I worry about players like Florian Wirtz. I mean, he's already shown that he's not that interested in pressing or like being bodied up in the traditional EPL sense. You know, this is a more physical league, much more so than the Bundesliga. And I think he has been figuring that out through 2 matches, including the Community Shield.
Yeah. Funny enough, the 2 biggest bruisers in the Bundesliga were on his team, so he didn't have to worry about it with Xhaka and Andrich.
I think that's an amazing point, honestly, because I think Wirtz was completely free to do whatever he wants, almost like an Ancelotti player or something. Like, it's like, oh, you just go be creative, because Granit Xhaka is going to back you up, and he's a badass. So I don't know about how Liverpool is going to fare here. I could see Newcastle stealing one. The head-to-head data is not great when these two teams have met. In their last 10 head-to-heads, 7 wins for Liverpool, 3 draws, no wins for Newcastle. So you're kind of hoping for that draw, but I think they could definitely get it here. The situation makes sense. The narrative makes sense to me, Jordan.
Right on, Dev. Is any of this thunder coming through on the mic? Because it is absolutely pissing down out here in Arizona, and I'm thankful for it. Don't get me wrong. We haven't had enough rain whatsoever this summer. So happy to hear it, but I hope it's not affecting things, and I hope the internet stays sound, because it is rocking out there like St. James's Park on a Monday night.
Thank you for the weather update there, Jord. No, you sound great. I'm not hearing anything, and I hope you stay dry inside there.
Thanks, bud.
Well, that's going to be it for our EPL plays this week. But we have some other leagues kicking off, Jordan, including the Serie A. Forza. And it starts off on Saturday. We're taking a look at Sassuolo against Napoli. This one sees Sassuolo as home dogs of a full goal +1, and the total is set at 2.5. Jord, it's the champions traveling to Sassuolo, a newly promoted side. What can you expect from this one on Saturday?
Well, unless Napoli have turned into a pumpkin over the summer, you can be pretty sure that they're not going to pull a West Ham and lose 3-0 here on the road to the newly promoted side. I would think Napoli probably put a hiding on Sassuolo. They did not do well, Sassuolo, when they were last in Serie A, and they got to open things up against the champions. Tall order. Now, a little bit of disarray in Napoli right now, having some tough times getting transfers over the line. And, of course, Big Romelu Lukaku, injured, will not be playing for some time here. So this wasn't one that caught my eye, Dev. The numbers seem about right, but I know you've got to play for this one to kick things off for Serie A.
Jordan, it's simple. It's the free hit, my friend. You got the champions here at -1 on the handicap. It's a free hit. They're going to win the game. Look, it's the opening day. Sassuolo could be tough because they're newly promoted. But I think we saw in the previous weekend when you had the likes of Real Madrid winning easily against a newly promoted side, Barcelona winning easily against a newly promoted side. It seems to be a theme here. So I'm going to play that -1 at even money. Seems really great to me. Yes, they've lost Lukaku. That's a big loss. But they brought in another striker, a young Italian kid. His name is Lerm something. He's got a name. So he may start this one. Kevin De Bruyne, huge signing for them. I mean, this guy, you're bringing in so much experience. I think the Serie A is going to be great for him. So I expect him to be able to navigate this match really well. And Noah Lang, sneaky signing from, was it PSV, I believe, in the Eredivisie. Really interesting creative player. He may get on the score sheet. So I like Napoli here as I say, like the free hit. Could definitely see this being 2-0, and that's how I expect it to go, Jordan.
You reminded me of Costanza there with the, it was a guy with a short name, Kip, Lem, Ned.
Jurgen Lern. All right, Catherine's trying to help us out. She says Jurgen Lern. Yeah, exactly. That's of course. Well, let's move on, Jordan. We have more Serie A plays, and it comes to it. The Capitoles, Roma against Bologna. This one sees Roma as home favorites of 1/4 of a goal. Total set at 2.25. Jord, I stayed off of this one. It's a little too sketchy to me. You got a new coach, Gasparini, coming over to Roma. Should be exciting. And Bologna, we know they're Italian Cup champions from last season. They've got something to them. So what do you think about this matchup here in Roma?
Yeah, Dev, I'll start with Bologna here. I don't think anyone expected them to have as good of a season as they did last season with under our old boy, Vincent Vincenzo Italiano, in his first season at the helm there after they had lost Thiago Motta, who had done all the great stuff with them. They thought, we're bringing in Italiano. He's kind of an also-ran all the time. He gets to the Conference League final with Fiorentina like 3 times in a row, loses all of them. He's like the Bills of the Conference League. So he comes to Bologna, though, Devin, like you said, silverware. Look at that. But I'm excited for the Gasparini era in Rome, Dev, in the capital. I think they're going to have their mojo back. And, they were great last season, right? Under Ranieri when he came in. We were making money hand over fist back in Roma during that stretch under Ranieri there. But he always said, look, I'm going to go. And hats off to Roma for the appointment of Gasparini. I think that's an excellent appointment. Atalanta on their day were unplayable in the Serie A when they were cooking under Gasparini, and I think he can transform this side. The only question I have is it too early? Has he had enough time to transform the side? Not as much fitness in this Roma squad as he had at Atalanta, but perhaps that's what they've been working on. They do have a lot of exciting players. I really want to see how Matheus Sula gets on under Gasparini here. So I'm just going to take the home team on opening day here, Dev, in the capital at the Olimpico to get this done. They're lined at -1/4 of a goal on the handicap, much like your Aston Villa were lined on the 1/4 of a goal on the Asian handicap. But I'm doing the same as you here, Dev. I'm not complicating it. I'm taking the money line. I'm being greedier. Give me +110, Roma on the money line to start their season off with a win.
Right on, Jordan. I like the bold play. I'll tell you, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little hesitant here. You got a low total in this game, 2.25 here. I think there's a lot at stake between these teams. These are both going to be competing for top 4, top 6 at the end of the season. So this is the points here are very important. I could see both teams scoring absolutely. That makes me a little nervous to take a side, Jordan, but I wish you the best of luck. I wish you luck with the Romans. Bologna, they played together a lot. They've won some things, have mostly intact squad, so maybe their experience will do something here, but I hope Gasparini's got some tricks up his sleeve for your case and for our overall record.
That's right. Paramount, the overall record.
Jordan, let's move on to our final Serie A match. It's Ole Como against Lazio. This one sees Como as home favorites of 1/4 goal, and the total is set at 2.5 with all the juice on the under right now. Jord, look, I'm going to be honest, stayed away from this one. Como's been pretty fun, plucky team that was newly promoted last season and was able to finish top half. And Lazio, always sort of in and around the European spots. So what do you think about this matchup here with the Romans traveling up to the lake?
Well, Dev, yeah, look, Como, one of the stories of the season last year in Serie A, and it's an exciting club. They're going places. I like what they're doing there. They're building a team. They're building an identity up there. We talked about how it's a tough place to go to, that little Lake Como, Battle of the Lake up there, and they defended pretty well. I think it tells you all you need to know that Cesc Fabregas stayed. He got some offers from bigger clubs, more exposure. He said, no, I'm good with what we're doing here. He's here for the project. I think that's a great sign for Como, Deb. Look, Lazio, longtime listeners to this podcast will know that I hate Lazio. Always want them to fail. And I'm rooting for Como in this one big time, Dev. But while Como have been shockingly poor in preseason, I know you don't want to take too much away from that, but not some great looking results for them during their preseason campaign. I'm kind of banking on Como to go back to basics here and kind of be like they were last season at home, right? Tough to play against and always cashing both teams to score for us. The market seems to favor that pretty well here, Deb. Both teams to score, yes, coming in at -134. And I'm going to take that where it is, okay? Bring in the 1-1 possibility. I think there's every chance we get a couple more goals in this one. I think it could be pretty entertaining. Lazio certainly down on their luck as well. Things not going great for them either. So, and I don't want to say that things aren't going great for Como. Things are great for Como. They just have not had great results in the preseason is what I meant. So, yeah, I'm gonna go back to the system here. Both teams to score yes in a Como match. What could go wrong, huh? -134.
Mm-hmm. Well, Myron Kidd in the chat says, what's y'all thoughts on BTTS no draw bets? Been targeting them lately for games that could have goals, and this bet is plus money 9 out of 10 times. Yeah, so that's interesting. So I don't think I played that market personally, right? It's both teams to score, and then it must be like a three-way money line or two-way money line thing where it's like draw or a winner.
It's just there's like on most books, there's a section for it where it's like both teams to score, no draw, and they have a price for it, right? So it's like, yeah, I don't play them that much myself because I do just tend to go with the goals instead, goals angle, because you bring in so many other score lines with that, right? Your 2-2s, your 3-3s, and your 1-1s. Oftentimes, if both teams score, there is a chance that they draw. We see those. So, yeah. If it's working for you, keep riding it.
Hell yeah. It's interesting to hear. This is one of the reasons we love betting on soccer is because there's so many different ways to attack it, right? There's so many different markets and combinations you can do with such a low-scoring sport. But Jordan, that's going to do it for us on the Serie A. And we're moving on to the Bundesliga.
Yeah,
Deutschland is here. And I have two of my favorite teams to say out loud, and I had to look up what 5 was in German because it's Mainz, but their number it's Mainz 05. So their full name is actually Mainz 5
Mainz
against Köln. This one sees Mainz as favorites here of a half a goal at home, and the total is set at 2.5. Köln are newly promoted. They're back. They spent just 1 year in this SPEADSHEETS Bundesliga, and they have returned to face off against Köln here on opening day. Jordan, I know you don't got to play for this, but do you have any thoughts on this match?
No, I don't. I have no thoughts at all about this one, Dev. I was surprised to see it make your card for the only Bundesliga match of our show here this week. So I'll just cede the floor to you once again here. I'm happy that the Bundesliga did make it onto our show, though. We had to bring something in from them kicking off here. It is an entertaining league. It is something we enjoy watching. I just might have gone for some different teams. Maybe you can tell me why this one stuck out to you.
Well, George, it's another situation where you're looking at two teams that this is going to be points at a premium already as we start this season. Mainz have been a little bit lucky floating in that mid-table zone. They could be flirting with going down. Köln just came back up. So I'm just going, keeping it simple, George. Both teams to score, yes. Minus 134 here. It's similar to the Como Lazio play you just gave. I just think both teams can get on the score sheet. It's the Bundesliga. We want to have something for that league coming in here. And we know it's one of the most open transitional leagues in the world. Head-to-heads between these two. Again, it was 2 years ago, but when Köln was still in the Bundesliga. Both teams have scored in 5 of the last 7 meetings. We've had 3 straight draws between these teams. I could see goals here too. You could tack on the 2.5 goals. You get some nice plus money with that. Both teams to score. But in case it's a 1-1, I just wanted to get that on side. So I'm going with the both teams to score, yes. Minus 134.
Yeah, same price as Como and Lazio there. Same price, same play. Let's cash them, baby.
Yeah, what could go wrong? I see some stuff popping off in the chat here. Catherine says, Köln is the dumbest logo I've ever seen. How dare you? How dare you? I love the goat here resting upon the famous Cologne church there with the 2 twin spires. But Jordan, we're meandering. We're trying to keep this tight. So let's move on because we only have one more matchup for you guys, and it comes from La Liga. And it is Villarreal against Girona. And this one sees the Yellow Submarine at home as full goal favorites here at -1 for Villarreal. And the total is set at 2.75. So what do you think about this matchup here, Jord, with Villarreal hosting Girona?
Well, Dev, this one didn't take long for me at all. The play jumped out to me as soon as I saw it, and that is simply to take the over where it's lined, over 2.75 in this match. I do think we see goals in this one, probably at both ends, but I elected to play it by just taking the total because there is every chance that Villarreal just thumped Girona. Girona have conceded a shitload of goals in preseason, and Villarreal have been looking pretty good. They looked really good to close the season last season. They've looked good in preseason as well. Home opener, there's a chance it gets ugly for Girona, but however it goes in terms of the scoreline, I would be pretty surprised not to see goals in this one. But I said the same thing last week about Lyon and Lens, and I took the same play over 2.75. It ended 1-0, but God, that was another one of my bad beats. There were so many chances created, such high XG. Just hope that's not the case with this one. I hope the ball finds the back of the net for these guys. So yeah, over 2.75 on the Asian total here for Villarreal Girona. Dev, your sound is out. Are you muted?
Fuck,
you've been,
yeah, I was
you've
muted.
been muted that whole time. I was trying to tell you.
Damn it. Let me tell you something. I was making some salient points right there. If you guys have heard that, you would be making all kinds of money now. Gambling on soccer. No, I was just saying I like what Villarreal's done. I like some of their players. Myron says Devin is locked in. I'm locked out of my own microphone.
I couldn't get your attention there. I was going.
Yeah, I was looking at SofaScore. Sorry about that. Maybe, Jord, we'll do this show one day and not have technical difficulties. We can do it. I see it in our future. Well, Jord, that's going to do it for us. But like we always say, where are you? There you are. It's one thing to talk about these matchups, but it's quite another to put our money where our mouths are and pay the bookie.
Chuck, I'm going to tell you something. You have that fucking 200 in my hands tomorrow. If you ain't got the 200 in my fucking hands tomorrow, I'll break every fucking bone in your body.
Well, Jordan, we've got a lot of plays for you guys, so get ready. I'm going to throw them up on the screen here. I'll read out my official plays. It starts Saturday morning. I'm double dipping on Manchester City and Tottenham. I got Spurs plus a goal and a quarter on the Asian handicap at minus 108. And I'm adding on Richarlison just to have a shot on target at plus 120. Are you kidding me? This guy scored twice last week. So one shot on target there, plus 120. Later on Saturday, we've got Aston Villa on the money line at plus 110. Napoli opening up their Serie A title defense here at minus 1 on the Asian handicap at even money. And then on Sunday in Die Bundesliga, it's Mainz 5 against Köln. Both teams to score, yes, minus 134.
Love it, Devin. I just have to say, I'm sorry for another Seinfeld reference, but I'm just laughing about why I was swinging my arms trying to get your attention. And then as soon as I spoke and said, Dev, I think you're on mute, you heard it right away. It reminds me of the Kramer with Joe DiMaggio. Why didn't you just say his name? Love it. It worked instantly. Not sure why I was doing the happy hands there. But anyway.
Yeah, why didn't you just say, hey, I can't hear you?
I don't know. I was like, well, maybe this is more professional, waving my hands, at least for the audio people. Anyway, always a bunch of laughs here at the Soccer Sharps. My official plays, I'm back in my hammers, baby. West Ham United plus 1 on the Asian handicap, coming in at minus 143. Newcastle United plus a half a goal on the Asian handicap at minus 118. Roma on the money line, plus 110. And Como Lazio, I'm taking both teams to score yes at minus 134. And finally, Villarreal Girona over 2.75 on the Asian total, coming in at minus 118.
Well, great, Jordan. That's going to do it for us. It has been a fun show, a lot of laughs. If you guys are still with us, we really appreciate it. Go ahead and please give us a follow, give us a like, give us a subscribe, leave us a review, and jump in our Discord. The description will be in the link will be in the description. Excuse me. And Jordan, do you think it's how much we drink during these shows? Is that why we keep having technical difficulties?
Well, yeah, why were you muted in the first place? You don't have a thunderstorm, do you?
No, but my dog was drinking water like she's never had it before. Like she just discovered the bowl of water.
Love
slopping it.
Same way you're drinking that wine over there. But yeah, listen, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We're going off the rails a bit here. Appreciate those who joined us live and anyone who's watching this since it's been live. We appreciate you. Hope these plays work out, and best of luck with all of your bets this weekend. Bet responsibly. We'll see you next week. Let's make some money.
Let's make some money.
Martial.